Before you keep listening, stop for a second. Put your hand over your heart. Take one slow breath in and let it out gently. Be here now. What you are about to hear is not just a group of sentences. It may be the message your heart has been waiting for in silence. If these words found you today, do not brush them away too quickly. Sometimes a message reaches us only when we are finally ready to understand it. There is a reason your emotions have felt stronger lately. There is a reason old memories keep rising when you least expect them. Somewhere, someone has been carrying your name quietly in their mind, holding back thoughts they never had the courage to say. And now life may be moving things into place for a meeting that has been building beneath the surface for longer than you know. Someone important may be coming toward you with a truth they can no longer hide. Stay with this, because the next part matters. This is not meant to feel ordinary. It is meant to touch something real inside you. There is a person, maybe still in your world, maybe from your past, who thinks about you much more than you realize. They may have stayed quiet. They may have stepped away. From the outside, it may have seemed like they moved on without a second thought. But under that silence, something changed. Something kept growing. And now it may be too strong to ignore. They are not coming back for small talk. They are not returning for a casual hello. They are coming because what they kept inside has become too heavy to carry alone, and the truth they buried may soon ask to be heard. What makes this feel so powerful is that some connections do not fully disappear, even when time passes, even when distance grows, even when two people stop speaking for months or years. Some bonds stay alive under the surface. They survive pride. They survive confusion. They survive silence. Maybe you have felt signs of this without knowing what to call them. Maybe their name came to your mind for no clear reason. Maybe you heard something that reminded you of them and felt your chest tighten before your thoughts could catch up. Maybe they appeared in a dream so clearly that it stayed with you all day. Or maybe a wave of emotion hit you out of nowhere and left you wondering why. Many people call these things coincidence. Maybe they are. But sometimes they feel like unfinished feelings looking for a door. Sometimes they feel like an invisible thread still pulling between two people who tried to move on but never truly cut the connection. Listen closely here. This matters. Before this person ever thought about reaching out, they likely did everything they could to bury what they felt. They stayed busy. They distracted themselves. They filled their days so they would not have to sit with the truth. They told themselves it was over. They told themselves they had already let go. But every time the world became quiet, especially at night, one thought kept returning. You. No matter how far they tried to push it down, your memory came back. Your voice, your energy, your absence. And feelings that are never spoken do not vanish. They build pressure, slowly, quietly, until one day silence hurts more than honesty. From the outside, this person may look completely fine. They may seem calm, successful, sure of themselves, even happy. But appearances do not show everything. Inside, they may have been fighting a private battle for a long time. They replay moments with you again and again. They remember your face, your tone, small conversations that once felt normal but now carry weight they did not notice before. Details they ignored in the moment may now be the very things they cannot forget. Questions circle in their mind. Why do these feelings still live in me? Why have I not truly moved on? Why has no one else made me feel what this person made me feel? And those questions may have pushed them toward a truth they did not want to face. The truth is uncomfortable. That is why it took so long. Because to admit it means admitting that you mattered far more than they allowed themselves to say. It means seeing that what happened between you was not only bad timing or hard circumstances. Deep down, they may now understand that they helped create the distance. They may see that they did not value the connection fully while they had it, and that realization can feel heavier than regret alone. If you are still here, do not skip this part. It may explain everything. You may wonder if they feel all of this. Why did they stay silent for so long? The answer is not simple. Fear stood in the way. Fear of rejection. Fear that your life had moved on without them. Fear that you had become stronger without their presence. Fear that you no longer needed them. And maybe the biggest fear of all was having to face the choices they wish they could change. For a long time, saying nothing felt safer than saying the wrong thing. Silence became a shield. As long as they stayed quiet, they did not have to face your response. They did not have to see your hurt, your strength, or the distance their actions created. But silence has a price. Every day they said nothing, the truth inside them became louder. What once felt like protection slowly turned into exhaustion. Avoiding the conversation may have started to hurt more than having it. Then something shifted. Maybe it was a small moment. Maybe they heard news about you. Maybe they saw a photo of you smiling. Maybe they walked past a place tied to a memory they thought had faded. Maybe they were surrounded by people and still felt deeply alone. Whatever it was, it reached a place inside them they could not ignore anymore. And in that moment, one thought likely became clear. If I never speak the truth, I may carry this regret for the rest of my life. That kind of realization does not come from drama. It does not come from passing emotion. It comes from a deeper place. A place where excuses stop working. A place where the heart grows tired of hiding. What may surprise you most is that this is not just about catching up. They are not coming to ask how you have been and leave it there. They may be coming to say everything they held back. The feelings hidden behind pride, the regret tucked behind distance, the emotions they hoped would fade with time but never did. For so long, you may have believed they were cold, distant, unaffected. But the truth may be very different. They may have cared more than they ever knew how to show. And that changes the meaning of the silence in a way you may not expect. They have likely played this conversation in their head more times than they can count. They imagined your face, your silence, your questions, your reaction. They thought about every possible ending, including the one where you walk away. And still, after all that, one truth remains. They cannot keep pretending forever. Whatever happens next, they know they need to speak honestly. Even if honesty risks everything they still hope for, they may have reached the point where truth feels lighter than pretending. The words they may want to say are simple but hard. I was wrong. I did not handle what we had the way I should have. I did not know how to love you the way you deserved. For someone who spent so much time guarding their pride, saying that out loud may feel terrifying. It requires real vulnerability, and that is something they may have avoided for a very long time. Sometimes people only understand the value of what they had after losing it. When someone is always there, it can be easy to miss how rare they are. But once they are gone, their absence starts speaking. That may be what happened here. Time gave them perspective. Distance gave them clarity. They began to see what they overlooked before: your calm, your loyalty, your kindness, your sincerity, the way your presence brought peace. As they kept living, meeting new people, building new routines, they may have found themselves comparing those moments to what they once had with you. And again, something did not match. Not because others had no value, but because what existed between you carried a depth they only recognized once it was gone. Some people search for that kind of connection for years and never find it. Realizing they once had it, then lost it, may be the very thing that pushed them toward you now. Even with all of that, they may still be afraid. In fact, fear may be strongest right before the truth is finally spoken, because once honesty enters the room, there is no going back to the comfort of silence. Everything changes after that. They know they could be rejected. They know they could learn that you truly moved on. They know they may not get the ending they hope for. They may hear the closure they spent so long avoiding. but they may also have realized that living forever with unanswered questions feels heavier than facing your answer. So they choose courage even without a promise. Now this part is for you. If this meeting happens, do not walk into it from a place of need. Walk into it with clarity. You are not the same person you were before. You have changed, you have learned, you have survived disappointment, confusion, and silence. You have become stronger, wiser, and more grounded. So listen carefully, but do not be moved by beautiful words alone. Watch for truth in action. Notice if their behavior matches what they say. Words can awaken hope very quickly, but real change shows itself over time. Honesty without responsibility does not mean much. Transformation is not something a person simply says. It is something they live. Trust your eyes as much as your ears. Trust what is steady, not only what is emotional. And when the meeting begins, you may feel the difference before anyone speaks. Time may seem slower, background noise may fade, the air may feel full, almost heavy, as if something important has been waiting for this exact moment. You may feel that your heart understands before your mind finds the words. Whether you call that intuition, memory, timing, or unfinished emotion, it can feel deeply real. There may be long pauses. There may be glances that say more than full sentences. There may be moments where silence itself becomes part of the conversation. And whatever this meeting means, its purpose is not always to bring two people back together. Sometimes the purpose is truth. Sometimes it is closure. Sometimes it opens a new chapter. Sometimes it gently closes an old one. But either way, something hidden is finally being brought into the light. The deepest truth they may have avoided for so long is this. They never fully stopped loving you. They tried to outwork it, outrun it, replace it, distract themselves from it. They may have thrown themselves into routines, goals, maybe even other relationships, hoping time alone would erase what they felt. But real emotion rarely disappears just because we want it to. It waits beneath the surface. Quiet, patient. And then it rises again in still moments when the heart can no longer pretend. So now they may be ready to admit what they denied for too long. Not because they are sure of the outcome, not because they know you will welcome them, but because living as if those feelings never existed has become too painful. And whatever happens after that conversation, life may not feel exactly the same. Maybe it creates a fresh beginning built on truth and maturity. Maybe it becomes the talk that finally allows both of you to move forward without confusion. Both outcomes hold value. Unfinished stories can stay in the heart for a very long time, but when honesty finally speaks, something inside begins to settle. Some healing comes through reunion. Some healing comes through acceptance. Both can be real. Both can change a life. That is why this moment may matter more than it first appears. If they do speak, let them finish. Let the full truth come out before you decide what it means. Do not rush to answer. Do not rush to fix it. Do not rush to believe it either. Just listen. Listen to the words, yes, but also to the energy behind them. Listen for sincerity. Listen for ownership. Listen for the difference between regret and true growth. Then, when it is your turn, answer from calm, not from shock. Your clarity is stronger than any reaction born from emotion alone. Take the time you need. Choose what protects your peace, your dignity, and the person you have become. And above everything else, remember this. You are not here to be tested. You are here to receive something many people wait years for and never get: the truth. Whether that truth leads to healing, reconnection, recognition, or release, it gives you something deeply valuable: certainty. You survived the silence that once made you question everything. You carried yourself through pain that once felt too heavy. You learned, you healed, you kept going. Do not forget how far you have come. Let that strength stay with you now. And before these words end, ask yourself something simple. What did this awaken in you? Hope, peace, reflection, clarity. Sometimes the message we receive is not meant to bring another person back. Sometimes it comes to bring us back to ourselves. It helps us see the part of us that got buried under heartbreak, waiting, and unanswered questions. We often think understanding must come from someone else's explanation. But some of the deepest understanding comes from within, when you finally see your own worth clearly. If you have spent months, maybe even years, wondering why someone entered your life, why they left, or why certain feelings stayed behind, remember this. Not every connection is meant to end in reunion. Some are meant to wake something up inside you. Some arrive to stretch you, teach you, and reveal parts of yourself you might never have found otherwise. Even painful love can become a teacher when you stop seeing it only as loss and start seeing it as growth. Never doubt the truth of what your heart felt. If a connection felt deep to you, then it was real in the place that matters most. Your feelings were not fake just because the outcome changed. Emotion can be genuine even when the future stays uncertain. The value of the love you gave is not measured by whether someone stayed. It is measured by how honestly you gave it. And please hear this part. Do not rewrite your own story just because you were hurt. Many people look back after heartbreak and tell themselves they imagined everything, that they were foolish, that they cared too much. But being open is not weakness. Feeling deeply is not failure. It means you allowed yourself to live sincerely. In a world where many people hide behind distance, your honesty was brave. You were never too much because you felt strongly. Your emotions are not flaws. They are signs of what mattered. They show your heart knows how to connect, care, and love fully. That should never be a reason for shame. Loving deeply was not your mistake. Love itself is not what wounds us most. Pain usually grows from fear, avoidance, broken communication, or a lack of readiness. The lesson is not to stop loving. The lesson is to love without losing yourself, to care without leaving your own needs behind, to stay open, but also stay rooted in self-respect. Real love does not ask you to abandon your peace. It does not ask you to shrink your standards or ignore what hurts. Healthy love allows tenderness and boundaries to exist together. It lets you care deeply while still protecting your spirit. It lets you hold compassion without chasing confusion. And if these words touched something inside you, let them become more than a passing comfort. Let them remind you that truth is always stronger than endless guessing. It is easy to get trapped in questions about what someone else thinks, feels, or meant. But peace grows when you stop chasing what is unknown and start honoring what is real. Clarity may not always bring the answer you hoped for, but it gives you freedom. It helps you move. It helps you breathe again. Choosing self-respect over fear is part of that freedom. Fear tells you to accept less because you do not want to lose someone. Self-respect reminds you that real connection is built on honesty, effort, and emotional responsibility. You deserve relationships where your presence is valued, your feelings are handled with care, and your love is met with the same sincerity you offer. Your worth does not rise or fall based on someone else's choices. Their silence does not erase your kindness. Their distance does not reduce your value. Their confusion does not make your love any less real. The more deeply you understand that, the less power uncertainty has over you. So if you are ready for more honesty in your life, let this be your quiet promise. I choose clarity, not because truth is always easy, but because it is cleaner than confusion, because it frees the heart from endless waiting, because it helps you move toward what is open instead of what keeps hiding. And if you are ready to protect your heart while still loving wisely, let another truth stay with you. I know my worth, not as a slogan, as a decision. Knowing your worth means you stop running after what keeps walking away. It means you stop begging for what should be given freely. It means you place your energy where it is seen, respected, and returned. If these words reached you at the exact moment you needed them, maybe that is not because they are telling you the future. Maybe it is because they are helping you understand the present. Maybe they are reminding you that healing is still possible, that growth is still happening, and that every hard chapter can become part of the strength you carry forward. Some messages do not arrive to predict what another person will do. They arrive to wake you up to what you already know deep down. They remind you that peace does not begin when someone finally explains themselves. Peace begins when you stop handing your value to their silence. It begins when you trust your own heart enough to stand in truth, whether that truth leads to reunion or release. So take one more slow breath. Feel your own presence. Feel the life inside you now. No matter what happens next, no matter who returns, no matter what words are finally spoken, do not forget this. You are already becoming someone stronger than the pain that once shook you. You are already learning how to love with wisdom. You are already moving closer to a life where honesty feels natural and confusion no longer feels like home. And if this message stirred something real in you, keep that feeling. Not as a promise about someone else, but as a reminder about yourself. You are allowed to choose clarity. You are allowed to choose peace. You are allowed to believe that what is meant to stay will meet you in truth, and what is not will still leave you with a lesson that makes you stronger.